I've been coming across a lot of clients and energy healings who really need a good bit of regrounding. And if that sounds like something that you need some help with, stick around because I have a few tips for you. I briefly first just want to talk about why grounding is so important. We live in a space of duality, as above, so below. You, especially anybody who has a spiritual practice, anybody who does any type of spiritual work, if you are way up in the clouds, in your head, in the heavens, in the divine, and you do not have good anchoring and grounding energy to counteract that, not only are you not going to get very far and not use your spiritual abilities incredibly well, but you're going to feel probably very uncentered and anxious, and you're not going to get as far as you would be if you had that really good grounding. Because if you can anchor down really well into the earth's core is where you want to kind of like search for it, then that's going to hold that anchored space for you to be able to drive even higher into your spiritual practices and using your spiritual insights and abilities. I've actually seen a TikTok on here one time talking about how I've suddenly realized why grounding doesn't seem to do any good for me. And it's because I'm a starseed and from the ethereal, which I'll probably do a video about sometime or another, because we are all stardust. We all came from one consciousness. Starseeds aren't better, worse, or anything else. We're all probably from there at some point. Anyway, so that's nonsense in my view, in my humble opinion. That's nonsense. You need to be grounded physically for your energy, emotionally to have a centered heart-centered, lessened anxiety, lessened head in the clouds, floaty, unfocused kind of life. And if you're using spiritual abilities or having any spiritual practice or meditation or anything of that nature, it's going to help get you further in your practice anyway. So on to a couple tips. If you are somebody who visualizes well, you can visualize things as if your roots are shooting down into the ground. In fact, if I'm using something like a root system coming out of the soles of my feet, I actually send them not only straight down, but then I send them kind of 360 from the horizontal plane and below of the earth, so that it feels like I'm really reaching out and anchoring down in from a wide stance too, for some really good grounding. You can also imagine like metal stakes going down. You can imagine like a metal bar coming across and locking your feet down to the ground. My daughter used to use that as a kid. Most recently, I've been using almost like drills starting at the pelvis and going down through the hip, down through the femur, down through the lower leg bones, down through the feet, and all the way, like imagining it going in through the earth's crust and down into the molten hot magma in the center of the earth, and then drawing that energy back up into my system. If you have aphantasia and you cannot visualize things, you can imagine the sensation of like something where you're sensing the feeling of shooting energy down into the ground, and then also slurping back up through a straw through both of your legs into your lower chakras. You can also just straight up go outside and put your bare feet on the ground, take off any type of like rubber soles or any kind of fake materials, so that the energy really connects through the feet from earth. That's called earthing. It has all kinds of health benefits, even lowers blood pressure and heart rate and anxiety and things, like things that can actually be measured. It really truly does make a measurable scientific difference. Let's see, some of the other ideas is just kind of like your regular everyday practices, eating certain foods. So if you're somebody who does eat meat, you can eat meat-based products, and that has a very earthing, grounding kind of nature to it. If you do not eat meat or choose not to, then you can do root vegetables. So anything that actually grows below ground, beets, potatoes, those kinds of things, those can actually help ground you as well. You can do things like tree essential oils, something like a cypress or pine, even frankincense, something like that, because it is a tree and will help kind of ground the energy. Put that on the soles of your feet. And if you even want to do that, let it soak in for a couple seconds and then go stand barefoot on the ground. That's helpful too. So just a few ideas, just a few things you can do. So again, even if you don't have a spiritual practice and you don't care about that stuff at all, and you're just trying to not walk around feeling like a total anxious mess because the world is on fire, even if that's the case, these are things that are very easy to do, only take a minute or two in most cases, and they just help you kind of feel a little more centered. I mean, things are a little wonky out there. The world has been going crazy. I mean, it's always been going crazy, but it feels like we're kind of in those times where it's a little extra heightened for a lot of people, and it's kind of knocking them off their center. So give them a try. Come back and let me know if there are any in particular that you really like, or anything outside of what I've suggested that you think other people might find helpful.